So you don't know this, but I play games on my Xbox Series X because I'm poor.
Ha ha! Poor!
And yes, I use Game Pass, but not for all the games I play, just for some of them. But I came across this video, which I will link in the description, where this guy explains that Xbox is outsourcing the development of its hardware, with recent examples being a MetaQuest 3S limited crossover, and the ROG Ally handheld device made with AMD. Now, why am I talking about all this? Well, I came across the video titled, Microsoft is giving away Xbox to save it. And that just left me with a number of questions, like, is Microsoft giving away Xbox as an acquisition? Like, is there an acquisition taking place? Or is something else going on? And it left me with a couple of questions. So I clicked on the video and I found out that no, there is no acquisition, but there is something else that's going on. So yeah, it turns out that they are more interested in outsourcing the development of new hardware, which in hindsight makes more sense. I mean, who would be interested in buying Xbox? Valve? Well, actually, they are having a partnership with Xbox, so there's not going to be any acquisition. But it does mean that if you play on Xbox like me, you'll be able to play some Steam games, hence why Black Myth Wukong, Final Fantasy XVI, and Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade will be, or already are, available on Xbox Series X.
Xbox has been in the giving mood lately, and by lately I mean like over the past year and a half. It started with them giving away their games to other platforms like PlayStation, Nintendo, Nvidia GeForce Now. That's old news though, that is 2024. We're in 2025, and Xbox decided that's not good enough. They gotta give more of themselves away, specifically the Xbox name.
Right, I heard that. Isn't Gears of War coming to PlayStation? And after a quick Google search, there will in fact be a remaster of the first Gears of War game coming to PS5 in August.
Over the past 3 weeks, we've seen Xbox announce 3 major partnerships. The first one happened at the Xbox Showcase. They partnered up with Asus to bring us the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X. And then not too long after that, they announced a partnership with AMD. And this morning, they announced a partnership with Meta and introduced the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition.
Okay, so they've been partnering with other companies, but Microsoft hasn't technically given away Xbox?
Now, this is actually something we've been hearing about for a while now. Back in 2024, we were hearing about them potentially partnering up with Meta to do specifically this. Beyond that, we've been hearing about an Xbox VR headset for a long time. They wanted to do one for the Xbox One X, with Phil Spencer even going so far as to get up on a stage and be like, yeah, future of Xbox includes VR, which of course did not end up happening.
Why the fuck did you bring it up then if it didn't end up happening? Alright, don't shoot the messenger. I just find it interesting how this video is titled Microsoft Gives Away Xbox, when all they're doing is licensing the Xbox IP to other companies. Not that all this matters anyway. Microsoft laid off around 9,000 employees recently, with Phil Spencer saying that it was to position gaming for long-term success and focus on strategic growth areas. We are exiting or scaling back. Ooh, those infamous words. Guys, you're intelligent, but whenever there is PR talk like scaling back, it just means that people are getting fired. But they won't say that because they don't want to scare away investors. They will never outright say that they are firing people. Scaling back operations in certain areas of the business and following Microsoft's lead by reducing layers of management to increase agility and efficiency. Yeah, alright Phil Spencer, you're full of shit. But at least according to this article, Matt Booty announced that Perfect Dark had been cancelled, and I know that the appearance of the character isn't necessarily a reason to write off a game, but Ubisoft also made this exact same mistake with Star Wars Outlaws and lost millions! This has been a side tangent, I know, but for the rest of this video, he talks about streaming games on Xbox to your MetaQuest 3S with lower resolution.
It does seem like something I'd be interested in adding to my collection. I have to take into account my own personal capacity for VR. My only experience with the 3S headset specifically was during Days of Play.
I have tried VR, and I didn't like it. The problem I had, and I was using an Oculus Rift, was that the headset was too clunky to the point where I was like, yeah, I prefer the console or PC. Which I will get a PC eventually when I move out and find a place of my own.
Remember at Summer Game Fest, they announced the Deadpool VR game, and they had a demo at Days of Play. I was able to squeeze in an appointment to play it on my very last day, and they were like, okay, like, what is your experience with VR? Tell us about it. And I was like, I've tried VR in the past, a little bit of Beat Saber.
And yes, I played Beat Saber.
And I was like, you know what? I'm a gamer. I could probably handle that hero mode. I could not handle that hero mode, y'all. I was like, whoo. Oh man, it was a long demo, first of all.
Must be a skill issue then. And I know the VR control scheme is different to the controller, but I've been playing Ori and the Blind Forest on hard mode, and Doom 2016 on ultra violent mode, which that last one isn't a flex because I'm aware there are higher difficulties. But I have set it to the highest difficulty on Quantum Break at least.
So what comes next for Xbox after this? I think there's a very slim possibility, depending on how well this specific headset sells. If the sales are decent, if people are interested in this thing, does Xbox consider making their own VR headset? I mean, it looks like Xbox is still interested, per what Sarah Bond was saying in that AMD announcement, in making their own Xbox handhelds, despite the fact that they've partnered up with Asus to make the Xbox Ally. So if this does well, does Xbox take VR more seriously? It's not exactly where the money is right now. VR it didn't take off in the way that we thought it would like 10 years ago, but it would still be cool, especially since Xbox is taking the stance of like, we're like a game publisher, we're not just about consoles. VR would be a cool thing to have in their portfolio. They have literally every other genre of gaming covered: FPS, RPG, strategy, mobile games. So why not add VR on top of that? They're over here talking about, we want to reach the players wherever, however they want to play. We want to support that. So why not support VR as well? It may be too big of an investment for too small a population of their fans, but even if they don't make their own VR headset, they could still make a VR experience. They have plenty of IP in order to do that, and then just make sure that's supported on third-party hardware.
I mean, making VR for Xbox players more accessible isn't a bad idea, but yeah, the video isn't necessarily clickbait. No, Xbox is not being acquired, but they are doing various partnerships with other companies to what I assume is to maximize the efficiency in which players who prefer to play on different hardware like handheld or VR can now do that with Microsoft licensing other companies to develop that technology.